Big up, big up, big up. This your boy African King Academy. We are back for another edition of Kings of the Elite. Sorry we're a bit late. Obviously, I had to move the time in a little bit to be a bit later than usual on the Sundays. But as your Don Callis member, we are forever growing, we are forever strong, and we are forever gonna be on top of the wrestling business. But before we get started, I do have to introduce my two co-hosts for this evening. First, it's the man from Toronto. It's the man that says Edge and Cope, or Adam Copeland and Christian Cage is the greatest tag team of all time, and he can't wait to see them in All In, doing their thing, spears, spears, and more spears. But we call him Lewis. How you doing?
Bro, I'm bringing my book and I'm gonna read during their match. Um, Big up. You're a fraud for that. I'm not Canadian, but yeah, I'm
Hey,
excited
listen,
to talk about today.
100%, 100%. And next up, we got the man from the islands. You know what I'm saying? He's a part of the, Anawai family, allegedly. He says so. He
Yeah,
says
yeah.
he's Samoan. But, and he says that Jey Uso is the greatest wrestler of all time, and he should be collecting all the belts, including the AEW one. I don't know how that's going to happen, but he is Ansar. How you doing, Ansar?
You're a fraud. You're just a fraud. Well, I'm happy
Enough
to talk
ado.
about what's going on.
Oh, yeah, yeah, we got a lot to talk about. We do have a lot to talk about. AEW is on the final stretch, the final move towards All In. And yeah, this is gonna be some good times. We're looking at that final stretch. We're looking at that last bit before we get to the main crux of their WrestleMania, their Wrestle Kingdom, their Slammiversary. It's on the way, on the horizon, and we can't wait. We can't wait. But we're gonna be talking about that and so much more. We're gonna look at what happened last night in Collision, and then also look forward to All In as it's the last week of towards All In, with Dynamite and Collision coming, another Dynamite and Collision coming up as well. But Collision started off with a Continental Challenge Cup quarter-final match between two conglomeration members, Kyle O'Reilly versus Orange Cassidy, with Kyle O'Reilly taking the win. I would like to start with Lewis. How did you feel about that opening match? Was it the perfect way to start the show, or were you bored to tears? Let me know.
I thought it was okay. I'm not gonna lie to you. Orange Cassidy, I'm glad he lost. I'd rather take Kyle O'Reilly. I thought the match was a fine way to open it, but I didn't think the match was anything crazy. I'm still salty about Jay White losing, so I didn't really care who was gonna win in this match because I know they're just not gonna make it in the final.
Fair enough, fair enough. And Answer, do you have anything to say about this match?
I think we said it correctly, but I also did think that Orange Cassidy was gonna win and make it to the final. But like, just for banter purposes, I thought that was gonna happen. But yeah, it didn't really happen. But they chose the right winner.
Yeah, out of the two members, obviously Kyle O'Reilly's the better wrestler, so it's
Mm.
obvious he was gonna win. Um, I don't like the final four names. To be honest with you, I don't like the direction they're going in with this tournament, and I think if they wanted to do that, they may have just not made this tournament and scrapped it altogether. I feel like, for me, the two things that AEW have done with their two tournaments, and they're gonna do it with this one, is the first winner isn't good enough to be winning these type of tournaments. The first one was for the other one, for the A plus B block or whatever, blue gold, whatever they did was what's his brother's name again? The fat one that got injured.
Kingston, Eddie
Yeah, Eddie
Kingston.
Kingston.
Eddie
And now they're
Kingston.
gonna, and it's looking like they're going towards either gonna be John Moxley and Nigel McGuinness. And I think when you're starting a new cup and tournament or any trophy, you have to make the first winner be prestigious, someone that people can get behind. And if it isn't
Mm.
someone you can get behind, you might as well just scrap it. because then the next one isn't going to be watched. The next one after that isn't going to be cared about. And I feel this tournament has. There's been some good matches, but it's not been on the level of what it's needed to be the FA Cup of AEW, as you will.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
But we move on. Will Ospreay gets a talking to from Nigel McGuinness. I don't really know what to say about this one, about this segment. It was interesting. Did I give a damn about what an Englishman got to say to Will? Hey, bruv, you know, they were bruv, 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 bruv. That's what it sounded like to me, man. It sounded a bunch of bruvs. But answer, how did you feel about this segment?
Uh, no, it just happened on the. It was there for me, and I just had to take it. The segment was just there. I had no feeling other than we already know that Nigel McGuinness is gonna make it to the final, and we possibly know that Will is gonna win the championship. So yeah, it was just there for me.
Yeah, it was a nothing burger segment. But Lewis, how did you feel about it?
This segment is what solidified it for me that it really didn't matter who was going to win with Cassidy or Kyle, in my opinion. This segment was just to provide story for when McGinnis goes to the final. That's all that this segment was. Um, you could also say that this segment adds to Will Ospreay's thing, but we both know that like Will's gonna win it at all in, and McGinnis is gonna make it to the final. Will he win it? I don't really think so. I think Moxley's gonna smoke him, but it is what it is. But yeah, I agree with you guys. I think it was just a nothing burger. If
Yeah.
this segment was on during the beginning of the Continental Challenge Cup, then I would have been like, oh, okay, cool. Like that would have been a nice little like thing. But the fact that you're doing this like a week before or less than a week before All In, it's just like, yeah, this is just a nothing burger for me.
Yeah. Pretty much solidifies what we think is gonna happen. Man's doing the generic
Hmm.
bruv man to the main event and bruv man to the main event of the cup. When
Yeah.
listen, I reckon that 90% of the fan base going to All In doesn't want to see McGuinness in the final, and I think he might even win it because this Tony Khan is a
Oh,
schmuck. But
interesting.
we can get away from the mid
Who?
because we had 5 minutes of glory. I mean, it wasn't 5 minutes, but the greatness that was put forward, the divine dominion, the colossal Lena Cross, the Megasus of Megan Bain destroys two. I don't know even who they what their names were. It doesn't really matter. But Lewis, how did you feel about this little quick match?
I felt something. This this match in itself was fantastic. On top of that, um, the fact that they
Mm.
just got to be shameless and they started doing moves from the Brawling Bird and they just started acting like the Brawling Bird, that was perfect. I'm gonna need more shamelessness from them because they are funny to me. Like besides them being divine, I think they're actually hilarious when they get to be frauds. So if I can get more of this, um, I definitely want to see more of this. However, now as much as I love the Brawling Birds, I'm gonna have to pick my side since All In's coming in, and I'm supporting Divine Dominion. I'm gonna need
Ah,
more than one.
interesting.
I'm gonna need more than one Brit to lose at Wembley. I'm gonna be honest with you. McGuinness is not enough for me. So if I can get a Divine Dominion being shameless um at Wembley, then yeah, that they are my pick.
Oh
A
yeah,
10-10
100%,
segment.
100%.
Mm.
Answer, anything to add?
I think I'm on the opposite side of Lewis. I need the Brawling Boots to win, in my opinion. I think it would have been better if they had just a little face-off between the Brawling Boots and Divine Dominion. But overall, it was a squash match. It just happened, and yeah, I think it just missed that.
Yeah, it missed the tension between them. I feel like the good thing about it, which Lewis said, was that they were mocking the Brawling Birds, and that's what you want them to do as the heels, mock them in a small little minute match. I mean, the match doesn't mean anything, but then mocking them, stealing their moves, doing what they needed to do to win. I think that adds a little bit of heat. The only thing I would have liked is if the brawling birds came out afterwards. Because if you're getting disrespected like that and you're meant to be the faces, come out afterwards. Start brawling. You're no brawling birds. Brawl. What were you in, catering? Were you in catering eating food or something? Drinking a beer? You know, or were you watching it on the TV? Say, look at these slags copying our moves. You should have came out there and did something about it. In my opinion, I think that's the only thing that was missing. That was the only thing was missing. But we move obviously next up a match set for Wednesday in Glasgow. Swerve Strickland versus Jungle Jack Perry. I did like the line "It's killed or be killed." I like that line. But yeah. Answer, how do you feel about this match on Wednesday?
I think it's gonna be a good match. I do think that Swerve is gonna win, and maybe just maybe the demand come out and attack him, and that just builds on the story. But overall, I think it's gonna be a good match, and yeah, my pick is for Swerve to win.
And Lewis, how do you feel about this little bit?
Oh yeah, I thought it was fantastic. Listen, Jack Perry, you got to get put in a pack. I'm sorry. That we have bigger fish to fry. You're just a sideman, and we will throw you at an all-in dark match, and you'll enjoy it, and that's about it. But for right now, you're gonna have to take this house call, straight to the dome, and just take this out.
Yeah,
Really about it.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Listen, we need Swerve to win. Look strong towards All In. Medical update on Darby Allin. Yeah, man, he's packed up, but he's gonna be back on in All In. Yeah. That's what we want to see. I don't think there's anything needed to be added to this bit. I mean, they just did an update. Who cares? But we move to the next quarterfinal match. Claudio Castagnoli versus Daniel Garcia. Now, Eddie Kingston was injured, and because of his injury, Daniel Garcia faced some nobody, because we don't know him. I don't know his name, but
From
some
Ring of
nobody
Honor, yeah.
in Ring of Honor to face Claudio
Daniel
Castagnoli.
Garcia.
And Daniel Garcia won that, and obviously he got to face his brethren. Now, it's good. It's good that, first of all, I prayed for Eddie Kingston to be taken out, and it happened. So at least I got one grabsman
Nah.
left in the tournament. We will talk about what happened afterwards, though, with the semi-final put in place, because that is fraudulent. But Claudio Castagnoli defeats Daniel Garcia. Lewis, how did you think about the match?
The beginning of the match when they have the camera look at Garcia's face as Claudio's walking behind him was hilarious. Because I was just there like, oh yeah, you're gonna get put in a pack easily, easily. Um, I enjoyed the match, and then I saw somebody had a New Japan belt in the crowd, and I was like, how did that man not get jumped? How is that man still breathing and a collision taping with that belt on him in public? But regardless, we saw Garcia finally do the move that everybody's been fiending for him to do. And yeah, and I actually thought it was a decent match. To be honest, it was probably the first good match in this collision. Yeah, because now that I think
Mhm.
about it, Kyle O'Reilly was like, yeah, and then Megan Bain and Nina Cross, they didn't really
This
get
should have been
much to
kicked
do.
off.
So yeah, yeah, this should have been the kickoff match in my opinion. I thought
Yeah.
it was a great match. There was no doubt in my mind that Claudio was gonna win. So
Yeah,
I'm not really, yeah.
yeah, 100%. Answer, how did you feel about it as well?
I agree with most of what Lewis is saying. I think this should have been the match that kicked off the show, and then it go on to the promo on the segments. But yeah, I think this was it was the best match to go with next in a sense, and then Claudio, my Iron Man for this tournament. I think his road is slightly dwindling because we know him. I'll get into that later on, but overall, it was a good match. Probably one of the best matches if on this collision, in my opinion. But yeah, it was good.
100%, 100%. Yeah, I think this was a match that should have started the show because the one thing about the Death Riders, they have good wrestlers in their group, and both of them showed, especially Claudio, what they can do in the ring. And that's the thing about it is this. The good thing about this tournament is we got to see Claudio actually be a singles wrestler for once. No more group
Hmm.
matches, no more 3v3s, 4v4s, and we're getting to see the best of him. And we're getting to see one of the reasons why he should be the man that should be in the final, not that British bomb and not Dean Bang Bros. So, for me, he showed up and showed out, and yeah, man, Daniel Garcia dancing again, and I need you to dance some more because that's when you were actually, a good wrestler. Ever since you started being in the Death Riders, all you've been doing is getting packed up by Will. I'm gonna lie to you. But we move, we move. The dogs had a little segment talking about they're coming for the trios titles. I mean, there's not really much to say to this. We know the dogs were gonna be in it. Gabe Kid chatting shit. We and then another little segment where the C3 semifinals are set for Dynamite. And this is where I got a problem. Nigel McGuinness versus Kyle O'Reilly, and then the two Death Riders again, John Moxley versus Claudia Castagnoli. Answer. How you feel about the
Um,
semifinals?
I honestly, I don't know what to say about it. I think it should have been the other way around. That Claudio should have gone against Kyle O'Reilly and Moxley should have gone against Nigel McGuinness because this is blasphemy. This is just Tony Khan being a mark as per usual. And the dog segment I think was great. We are the killers. Wembley fam. Gabe Kid, I just need him to be a single star and just start to be shameless as per normal. That's all I'll.
Yeah, yeah. And Lewis, anything to add?
Semifinals are mid. Um, and I'm gonna be a fraud for a second, if you will allow me. You
No
see,
problem.
this is why I always say that my promotion, New Japan, is levels above this mediocrity that Tony Khan produces. Because these semifinals, if it was just gonna be this as a semifinal, I would have rather just had like Commander face Moxley again for the Continental Cup.
W.
Or some, you know what I mean? Like I would have just have rather them announce as like, hey, Moxley is gonna face Jay White or Commander or Lee Moriarty, somebody, instead of doing
Just
this
for the
whole
food.
Continental Cup just to get these semifinals. The next thing, the dogs. This is how you could tell that our boy Gabe Kidd is the actual leader of this group because without them, these men are sidemen, bro. And Gabe Kidd came back and slapped both of their noggins and said, "Yo, we need you to lock in. You guys have been bums since I've been gone." And this is another thing. My promotion, New Japan, has elevated Gabe Kidd to new heights just for him to be mediocrity in a collision taping. This is all I have to say.
Oh
You
yeah,
rest your
100%.
case.
100%.
I
Yeah,
rest my
mid
case.
mid semi-finals. We know what the final's gonna be. It's pretty much plain out simple. And as for the dogs, yeah, Gabe Kidd, I mean, he's war ready. And for me,
Hmm.
um, I don't. The thing is, I like the dog. I think that there's not a. Obviously, he is the one talking, and he looks like the leader. But I think with the dogs, there shouldn't be a clear leader. I think all three of them should be individual assets in terms of they should all be going for singles titles rather than going after trios. And I think they're wasted. I think it's wasted for of what we've seen, especially in the G1 for Gabe Kidd, for him to come back and just go after trios titles.
Crazy.
Like, come on,
Mm-hmm.
man. That's why New Japan's the better promotion, anyway, man. 100%. Well, that's you see, cause and this is why the Don Callis family keeps getting disrespected on AEW as well. But we move. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Hey,
But we moved to two back-to-back matches for the Shane Taylor promotions. The first one
Oh,
was the Hurt Syndicate and
Yeah.
Lee Moriarty defeating Free Jobbers. Now, you know what the funny bits about this segment is? I finally realized why the Hurt Syndicate leave. It's like it's a business proposition. Basically, the Shane
yeah,
Taylor
yeah.
promotions only have enough money to pay for
Yeah.
them for like a little bit, and then they leave. They get the shit done, and then they bounce. Like, we got our money now. All right, we
Yeah.
going. That shit is hilarious. I can't lie. Like the first week, I was like, "Why are they leaving for?" The second week, I'm like,
Right.
"Yeah. This is probably one of the best gimmicks so far." Now, ideally, I would actually like them to be a group rather than this
Yeah.
dumb thing.
Yeah.
But beggars can't be choosers. It did move on to the second match, which was the Bang Bang Gang defeating Shane Taylor and the Infantry, and obviously without the Hurt Syndicate, without the muscle, they were always gonna lose that second match to the Bang Bang Gang, who are also went on to talk about going after the trios titles, going after the dogs, and saying we want those belts as well. Which I mean, what Jay Wyatt wasted, Colton and Austin Gunn should just be a tag team. But yeah,
Mhm.
again, we got singles wrestler wasted in a trios competition when we've known that him in these multi-man matches isn't good. One-on-one is where Jay White is the best, and Colton and Austin Gunn are a tag team. You have a tag team that could be in a tag team division, but we're wasting away watching the Young Cucks and two old men from WWE past years still thinking they're in their glory times. This is a problem. But I would like to start with Ansar in terms of these two matches. How did you feel about this whole kind of segment of Shane Taylor Promotions, Hurt Syndicate, and everything in between?
I think these two segments was the best part of the show for me, in my opinion. The Hurt Syndicate. The first time I thought it was just weird how they just walked out, and then the second time, yeah, I just found it funny because yeah, this is what I pay the internet for. This was hilarious in my opinion. Bobby Lashley basically chopping Lee Moriarty was just funny. I found that hilarious. And yeah, then we moved on to the Bang Bang Gang and STP. If you know from Ring of Honor, you know that these people could go. And yeah, obviously they weren't gonna win in the grand scheme, but I just would have found it nice if STP won. But I know they're not gonna leave Bang Bang Gang off of All In. So it was a win-lose situation or
Mhm.
win-win situation if you look at it. So yeah. In Jay White's case, I would have found it better if he was in a singles match, not as a trios match. But yeah, beggars can't be choosers.
Fair enough. And Lewis, what were your feelings and thoughts?
Hmm. So Shane Taylor Promotions with the Hurt Syndicate. I'm loving it. I hope this continues. I hope it continues to the point that the Hurt Syndicate, uh, they're starting to to basically gain sympathy for Shane Taylor Promotions, and like Shane Taylor Promotions kind of rubbing off on them. You kind of got a glimpse of that with Lee Moriarty being the third in this match, and then when they left, I thought it was hilarious because listen, brother was like, "Listen, the contract's over. We out of here. It's basically for you to finish this match." And yeah. In terms of the other match, the Bang Bang Gang, yeah, they were always really gonna win that match, to be honest, against Shane Taylor. However, that promo that Jay White cut at the end, I did not like it. I don't want this brother going for trios titles. What don't you understand about this? Like, we just saw him have a phenomenal match against Moxley, and you want to put him in a team again? Doesn't make any sense. That segment itself like tanked the rating for me for this show.
Yeah, it did. It did. Yeah. It's a shame. It's a shame what they're doing to Jay White. It's a shame. For me, I think as I said, single stars need to be single stars. The Gun should be going after tag team titles, and I do like the as I said the Hurt Syndicate STPs kind of situation going on, and I think hopefully over time it grows to something into like a budding bromance where they actually become a former group, and then you add a sprinkle of New Day, a sprinkle of Swerve, and we'll get the Black Excellence. You know what I'm saying? Black and Proud, but we'll see if that does happen. But we then had a couple of little backstage segments, the conglomeration, kissing at each other's ass, ma ma ma. Kyle O'Reilly saying, "Oh, I won I won in the semi-final, yay!" And then Willow Pillow, whatever her name is, "Oh my God, I'm world champion, yay!" And then they had the little segment after that, detailing Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay's road to All in London. And also, if you have the chance, also check out the Will Ospreay documentary that they're doing about him coming back from his injury. It's really interesting. But yeah, Lewis, how did you feel about these two little segments?
The conglomeration segment mid, don't really care about that. However, the long traveled by road, like with Omega and Osprey, I very much enjoyed it. This was basically something that, like, listen, if you don't know anything about this, like, we're just catching you up to speed. So I very much enjoyed it, in my opinion.
Fair enough. An answer. How did you feel about the two segments?
The Will segment and Kenny segment was just rehashing the history. It's just a history lesson of what these two, the history they have in this feud and how they basically got their route to All In. Will being basically a prodigy of Kenny, basically wanting to live up to his kind of style, and then that's the match there. Uh, yeah, the conglomeration. Yeah, just hit the go to sleep button on me, bro.
100%, 100%. Big up Nighttime Kid. Yeah, I do agree. I feel like conglomeration. Once that group ends, I'll celebrate. We'll have a celebration stream, and yeah, it was good to see the long road. But I mean, I already watched it. I already know what happened with Kenny and Will, and you know what I mean. And I will say this: this is the first time that I've seen Will this year have good promos during this run towards All In. I think this is the best mic work he's done in his career for me personally. But we move to a match with three superstars and a bum. You know who the bum is? It's the Psycho Killer Champa, and the prodigy Nick Wayne defeats the Commander and Smike Mike Bailey in a 2-on-2 match. But I do want to address something before we talk about this match quickly. Whoever's decision was for Nick Wayne not to win the Ring of Honor World title, shame on you, because that match was 10-10. That was top quality match. The fact that Bandido is being held down by Ring of Honor titles when he should just be an AEW guy, give Nick Wayne that title because he deserved it. After that performance, he should get a rematch and he should win. Nick Wayne is the prodigy, he's the future, and he showed it in that match. Ring of Honor, and this is why Tony Khan is a smuck because he keeps making these mistakes. You know what I mean? Start
boy.
using Ring of Honor like as a place where you cultivate talent, not hold them down.
Develop.
Because the two champions right now are being held down to Ring of Honor. You know, because for me, Bandido and
Athena?
not Ember Moon. What's her name
Athena,
now?
Athena.
Athena are too good for Ring of Honor and they shouldn't be there. Move them on and give new talents the opportunity to hold those titles and actually prestige Ring of Honor as a company and have it be a place where it used to be, where it was an indie, when it was in the indies, where the new talents come through and they show their skills and they rise up the ranks rather than wasting talents that should be on AEW weekly shows rather than the bums that we have. And we're going to be actually we may not talk about the bums in the main event because both of them are worse than
Oh,
Athena.
brother.
But
Brother.
answer, how did you feel about the tag team match?
Brother, I think you just need to chill with my promotion, Ring of Honor, bro. We know what we are doing. You just need to enjoy the ride that we are taking you on. Bandito is holding down the helm for a while. Athena will be in AEW for a while. And yeah, the tag team match in the grand scheme was great. I need Commander with a title ASAP. This guy in this match, if you don't watch anything with Commander, I suggest you watch this match. This man is unbelievable in the ring. And yeah, Speedball and Nick Wayne Chess, they absolutely balled out. This match for me was the best part of the match, the best part of the show. But I do think they choose their own winner in Nick Wayne and Ciampa, that scrub. But yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. What did you think about the match, Lewis?
I'm sad that Commander lost, but I'm happy that Nick Wayne won. He needed something, bro. After that terrible decision making, this brother should have been the youngest Ring of Honor champion on Friday. I don't care what anyone has to say. Um, this brother should not, like, Bandito doesn't need a Ring of Honor belt. What are we doing? Let's be honest right now. Like, what is genuinely going on? However, the way I see it is that Tony Khan's a mark, and if Nick Wayne, if they're disrespecting you, just know that across the pond, Gato's waiting for you with open arms. That's all I have to say. But the match
Yeah.
itself is probably my favorite match of the entire card, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it was the best match because it had the most talent on it. I think Nick Wayne, Commander, Mike Bailey, them guys are the guys that can go. And I think obviously they were held down by Ciampa, but it is what it is. Sometimes you gotta have to hobble along a bum in order for a match to look good. But yeah, man, I think this was a great match. I think having the heels win was good. I did like the push at the end from Ciampa to Nick Wayne, showing that he ain't friends with nobody. That shit was funny. But overall, good match. And as I said, the Prodigy should be the Ring of Honor champion. I don't know why they're wasting their time with that, in my opinion. And also it was a preview to the Gauntlet match. And if all these four guys are in the Gauntlet, I think we're in for some cinema when it comes to the Gauntlet match. I think Casino Gauntlet match is going to be one of the fun matches to watch all in. But then we had a fun little segment before the main event. The Death Riders addressing the blind draw. Now, this was hilarious. I'm going to lie to you. When Castagnoli said, "Socks for who?" Garcia just said, "Sucks." Obviously they're upset. Obviously it's two Death Riders going up against each other again. But Lewis, how did you feel about this little segment?
I felt something when they basically said when they basically told Wheeler Yuta to shut up. When Moxley said that, I was like, perfect. That's all I need out of this segment. But overall, I thought that part and then Claudio saying "sucks for who" was 10/10 for me. Yeah, so I very much enjoyed the segment.
100%, 100%. Ansar, how did you feel about the segment?
Yeah, I feel the same with you, boys. Nothing needs to be added on that, in my opinion. It was just funny.
Yeah. And anyway, so that is the AEW Collision reaction. We will be back on Wednesday.
W.
Well, actually, no,
Wow.
we won't be back next week because we're gonna be outside, people. So we will be back probably in a while, in a long while. No, I'm actually gonna respect a title match. The last segment, the main event, was the AEW Women's World Championship match. Willow versus Maya World. Obviously Willow was gonna win because, like, let's be honest, it would be pretty dumb to change a title a week before a big show, especially the way you promoted it. The only other thing that probably could have happened is if Monet got involved and they turned it to a triple threat match, which, I mean, could have been okay. I mean, that would have been black excellence. And as a person of color, I'm just gonna say that if that was a match, that's gonna be my piss break, because you know what I mean. But anyway, I'm gonna let the fraudulent one Answer talk about the match first, because he cares about this stuff. And then go ahead.
Let's be done with this.
This just shows to me why Maya Will is the fastest growing prospect in women's wrestling right now. This match just was cooking. What could this woman do wrong? I think it would have been nice if Maya Will won, in my opinion, but it would have been horrendous because at Forbidden Door, Maya Will and Mercedes just had one of, if not a great, one of the best matches in 2026. So maybe it would, in the match quality, would have been better with Maya Will and Mercedes. But overall, it would have been dumb because they promoted the hell out of this match. So yeah, overall, yeah, it just sucks to be sucks. It sucks to suck, I guess.
No, who did that? No, who did
Thank you,
that? No,
thank you,
that was that was disgraceful. But Lewis, how did you feel about
thank
the
you,
main
thank you.
event?
This, believe it or not, was probably Maya World's best match since Forbidden Door.
No,
CML.
she had a good match in Mexico.
Oh yeah, in Mexico, yeah. So since the Mexico show, this was probably her best match. Was she gonna win it? No. That no. Like, what are we doing here? That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I'm gonna lie. I mean,
Fastest
this
growing
is a
prospect, bro.
relatively yeah. This is a relatively quick show, but I think it wasn't. It was for me. It wasn't the greatest collision. Overall, so
Hmm.
I felt like there was not much meat in the bones to talk about. Yeah, this is Maya's world's probably first or second best match. I think she did put up a good performance being the TBS champions against Willow. I don't know, maybe these two worked well together, but I feel like this should have been a TBS championship match rather than an AEW title match. If
Yeah.
these were the two superstars going after the TBS title and All In, I might actually be okay with it. That would have been nice because then we'd have had Monet versus someone like Tekla or a Tony Storm or a real, opponent that would have made sense. That could have been a lot better. But obviously Willow had to win this match. She's going into All In looking very strong. She's on a very good run of wins, performances. She has Monet's number, so she needed to kind of get rid of this last opponent. And yeah, man, got the good win, and I think that was a collision. I'm hoping that Wednesday's a lot better show. Also, I would like to
Hmm.
address we won't be back on Thursday and on Sunday, but we will have a very special show designated not on the Monday, maybe the Monday or the Tuesday where we'll talk about the whole week leading up to All In, the Wednesday, the Saturday, and the actual All In itself. It will be a
Hmm.
big extravaganza on the Monday or the Tuesday, depending on what times we decide to go with.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's gonna be a much longer show than this one. So grab your popcorn. You know, get your snacks. That's gonna be a good one. But we're on the road to All In, and before we close out, I would like Lewis. What was your grading for this collision?
Oh, it's easy. It's 2 out of 5.
Yeah,
Get this mid promotion out of my sight. Can never be my promotion. That's all I have to say.
fair enough. And answer. What was your grading for this show?
2.5.
Oh, okay. For me, it's 1.5. I just think so close to All In. I expected a lot better. The things that I enjoyed a little piece, like like STP, the Hurt Syndicate stuff. But a
Yeah.
lot of this was really kind of filler stuff. It was filler promos, it was filler segments. It just didn't feel like they were on their way to Wembley. And maybe because it's the last show in America and a lot of the guys are probably traveling on the way down to Europe. Maybe that's why this show didn't have the gravitas that you would normally have with a weekending show towards the end. And maybe the Dynamite and the next collision is going to be where they really put out all the stops to get people prepared and waiting and ready for All In. But yeah, with that being
Yeah.
said, this has been the Kings of the Elite. We will be back within a week's time on probably on the 31st or the 1st to talk everything All In, the Dynamite, the Collision, and All In. Um, and it should be a very fun watch. With that being said, I've been African King. It's been Lewis, Ansar, and and you know what? another thing, there was not enough Don Callis family. You know what I mean? Hey, listen, the show isn't good without Don Callis family members. The best match on All In has two, not one, but two Don Callis family members. And I'm just saying, you know what I mean? We know what the match of the night is be. So always keep it in the family. And remember, Don Callis family is the number one family of all time. And we out.
Oh,
Peace.
brother.